Hey everybody, Neo Flynn here, and back again with another collection video. This time we're going to be taking a look at my Sega Dreamcast collection. So let's get right into it. First up, Ready to Rumble Boxing, a great arcade-style fighting game made by Midway. This was back when, the arcade ports to home were really popular, and Dreamcast, really, that was where their strong suit was. A lot of stuff that Sega put out in the arcades they brought over to the Dreamcast, and it worked really well. Dreamcast was, at the time, a very powerful system that could emulate those arcade games very well. And that's what made the Dreamcast a great system, was to be able to have that arcade experience at home. The other thing I really like about the Dreamcast that probably a lot of people forget about was the VMU, the memory cards, where they actually had little things you could do on the memory card to enhance your gameplay. Something innovative, something that Sega came up with that I wish companies would do today. It kind of gave me, Nintendo kind of did that with the Pokewalker for the new Pokemon. Something different, something to add a little bit different element to your gaming. Next up, this is one probably not a lot of you guys have heard of, Sports Jam. This was made by H-Tech and Sega. This was an arcade game that I actually played a ton at my local arcade game. They had, my local arcade, they had a cabinet of it, and I used to love it. Basically, it's was 12 different sports, anything from bicycling to golf to basketball to football. And you have these little one-on competitions, and you had a certain score you had to beat doing different stuff within the sport. So a lot of fun. Great if you have a bunch of buddies, get around and all play that one. Another great multiplayer game, Worms World Party. Worms is a great series. Stay away from the 3D ones. Worms Forts, I think it is, and I can't remember what the other one on Xbox is. I think I own it somewhere, but those are not so hot, but the 2D ones, amazing. There's a couple versions on Xbox Live Arcade. If you can play multiplayer, they're a blast to play. Just blowing the crap out of each other with all the crazy weapons they have on there. Next up, Resident Evil Nemesis. This was one I just didn't get into. Wasn't really digging the survival horror back in those days. Probably need to play through it again, though, to give it a second shot. Next up, NFL 2K. The series that nearly killed Madden. Could have probably killed Madden if EA hadn't swooped in and picked up that exclusive license to the NFL. Back when, 2K5 came out on the Dreamcast, they put it out in 1999. They were gonna kill Madden in sales, but unfortunately that's when it happened. That's when EA got the license, and we haven't seen another football game really come out since then that's done anything. So Madden kind of has a stranglehold on it, unfortunately. I had high hopes for Backbreaker. They implemented a lot of good ideas in it, but it didn't translate well to the overall game. So hopefully they don't stop. Hopefully they keep trying, and hopefully somebody comes along and swoops in and gives Madden a little run from there. Madden, don't get me wrong, Madden games are great, but EA needs some competition to make their games even better. So next up, NBA 2K. Again, Sega Sports knew what they were doing back then. The basketball games are really good, and the basketball games actually live on today, so lucky for us because they're really good still. Next up, NBA 2K1. Again, Allen Iverson on the cover still. I think he was on the cover like 3 years in a row, something crazy like that. Next up, another great arcade fighting game, Plasma Sword, made by Capcom. I had a lot of fun playing this one in the arcade as well, which is why I got it on Dreamcast. Like I said, Dreamcast was made for those arcade ports. Next up, another one from the arcade, Sega Marine Fishing. My one caveat to this, if you don't own the fishing pole controller, don't bother with it, it's not the same. Next up, if you can see that, Phantasy Star Online. This was one, this was back in the day when I was working at GameStop. I forgot this was on, oh that's right, Sonic the Adventure, the trial was the second disc. I just noticed it said 2 discs on there, I had to see why, I couldn't remember. Anyway, this was back in the day I was working at GameStop. All my buddies got into the Dreamcast before I did, and they all played this game, so they're like, as soon as I got a Dreamcast, they're like, you have to get this. So I did, and it was a lot of fun. Definitely made to be played multiplayer. I kind of hope they'll bring it back. It was a lot of fun. There was a version of it on the original Xbox, so hopefully they bring it back. I'm not sure if it was on 360 or not. Next up, we have the web browsers. First one, and then version 2.0. Dreamcast pioneered online gaming for consoles. If it wasn't for the Dreamcast, I don't think you would see, Sony Online and Xbox Live today, and the Nintendo Wi-Fi Connect. Dreamcast kind of showed that it could work. There was like Phantasy Star Online, there were games that a lot of people played, and so it worked. And I think that's why companies today are still trying to do it, because Sega showed it could work. Sadly, the Dreamcast had a short life, but it paved the way for a lot of stuff we have today. Next up, another arcade, NFL Blitz. I got 2000 there and 2001. NFL Blitz is a lot of fun. You guys have heard me talk about it in the Super High Impact video I did, and also in the NBA Jam video. NFL Blitz, one of my all-time favorite games. My buddy and I used to kill that in the arcades. A lot of fun. Next up, this was one I originally bought for my wife. I actually got it on eBay. She's a huge Disney fan, so got her Walt Disney Magical Racing Tour. Disney Mario Kart, essentially. And along with that, in the auction that I won, I got Donald Duck's Going Quackers, a little Donald adventure game, and 102 Dalmatians, another little, kids adventure game. I haven't played any of those. Like I said, I bought the one for her, and those other two were kind of a throw-in. So, next up, Virtua Tennis. Probably one of the best tennis games ever. Top Spin on the original Xbox takes a lot from that. There were a ton of mini games on there where you could, improve your skills and stuff. There was bowling and all kinds of other stuff, and it was really a lot of fun to play. Next up, Sonic Shuffle. Sega's answer, or attempt at an answer to the Mario Party craze. Didn't quite work out as well. It wasn't nearly as fun as the Mario Parties. The base game wasn't as fun, the mini games weren't as fun, but, they made an effort. Mr. Driller, another great game. Great puzzle game. If you guys have never played this, check it out. There's a version on Xbox Live. It's available on the DS. And I think it might be in one of the collections, one of the Namco collections on the original Xbox as well. But great game, Mr. Driller. Great puzzle game. Sonic Adventure. It was, they tried to take Sonic in a different direction. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but it was a decent game to play. And next up, Choo Choo Rocket. Great little puzzle game. Get the little mouse guys to their rocket before the little, what was he, a cat? I think he was supposed to be a cat. Anyway, get him to the rocket before he gets some. Great little puzzle game to play. Next up, another great Capcom fighting game, Power Stone. This one was, it was crazy fun, and it was another one that came from the arcades, and a lot of fun to play. So like I said, guys, that's my Dreamcast collection. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep watching for more of my collection videos, more Let's Plays, and more arcade reviews. So keep watching, guys. Thanks.